Talking Points memo this evening is some new information about the ICE Minnesota conundrum. So this is New York Post reporting. I've checked it. I mean, I don't have any reason to doubt this. So according to Post, the New York Socialist Movement, which is very well organized here in the city, Democratic Socialists of America, they are mobilizing 4,000 anti-ICE activists to stop any kind of ICE apprehensions in New York City, the largest in the country. 4,000. Now, this comes as no surprise to me because the Minnesota demonstrations are not organic. They're organized by far left people who are using the immigration and the ICE roundup to try to destabilize America. That's what they're trying to do. There is an opening there. All right, we saw that with George Floyd. It's the same kind of tactic. But they're not really as successful as they'd like to be. So let me run it down for you. Over the weekend, there were a few demonstrations, anti-ICE demonstrations. Minnesota, of course, Minneapolis, Broadview, Illinois, outside of Chicago, Denver, Portland, Maine, not Oregon, Maine, and a couple of others that, one in Jersey, I guess it's Morristown, but it wasn't much. And there was no violence, good. Few arrests, but not many. But this was not a populist uprising, and that's important to know. The Pentagon says it has alerted 1,500 soldiers that they may be needed to go to Minneapolis to calm things down there. And the reason is that Minnesota State Police and Minneapolis local police will not protect federal agents. That's pretty startling, pretty stunning. So if an Insurrection Act executive order was signed by the president, he would have very firm legal ground. So the state of Minnesota is in rebellion to the United States. I hope he doesn't sign the Insurrection Act. I hope that doesn't happen because that'll just inflame things. All right? It doesn't look to me like ICE got about 4,000 agents on the ground in Minnesota now is in any danger of being overrun. But, it's obvious that this state has got to be dealt with. Here's the mayor of Minneapolis once again. Go.
Right now, we have about 600 police officers, and they've got 3,000 or so ICE agents and border control. That they are now talking about deploying 1,500 military. This is, well, it's ridiculous, but we will not be intimidated by the actions of this federal government.
All right, what's ridiculous is you, Mr. Mayor, telling your police department not to protect federal agents from harm. I mean, that's just disgraceful. It's awful. I mean, there's no other adjective to apply to it. Even if you disagree with the policy, you want federal agents to be hurt? Is that what you want? Apparently, yes. All right, so there is in the city of Minneapolis a separation ordinance, which is totally illegal, okay, that says that the locals don't have to cooperate with the federal government. Totally illegal. But it's on the books there, just so you know. And I'll tell you, Minnesota's never going to recover from this, ever. So you just be in Minnesota nice and let's go up and jump in the lake. I jumped in Rainy Lake and I had a great time up there. I'm not going back. There's nothing to get me back to Minnesota. I'm not going to and spending money in a state that's in rebellion to the federal government. I'm not doing that. I don't think I'm alone. Polls. All right, so this is a CBS poll. Very simple. Right now, do you think the way Immigration Customs, ICE, is conducting its operations when it stops or detains people is too tough, 61%. Not tough enough, 15%. About right, 24%. So you got a plurality that says too tough. And I agree with that. I think ICE has got to bring it down a little bit. Okay? Not chasing criminals, but if it's a marginal situation, you let it go a little. You don't let it go forever. All right? You just take care of it later when its temperature is lower. Now, the Democratic Party is divided into moderates and radicals. The radicals run the Democratic Party. One of the radical senators, a man named Ruben Gallego from Arizona, who is hoping for a full rebellion. Roll that tape.
From my experience running in Arizona, in a very hard state when it comes to immigration issues, people want immigration enforcement that goes after criminals, right, and focuses on criminals. And immigration enforcement that's actually focused on security and not the goon squad that has come from Stephen Miller and Donald Trump.
All right, well, that's totally ridiculous. So ICE agents can't adjudicate people's status in the street, okay? So they have targets that they're targeting criminals. And the stat that ICE put out about Minnesota is they've rounded up 1,500. That's a lot of people. 1,500 criminals. Foreign nationals there. That's a lot. Anyway, Gallego, I don't know if he's smart enough. I doubt it. But you can't, if you're an ICE agent and you go in on a raid targeting someone who's a criminal and there are 5 other people who don't have credentials to be in this country, you just can't let them go. You have to take them in and then they're adjudicated from there. So it's just, ICE guy's going to go, okay, you're bad, you're good. He doesn't have the ability to do that, he or she. It's just so ridiculous. But that's the status of our politics today. Okay. Virginia. So the new governor comes in, Abigail Spanberger, replacing Glenn Youngkins. So Governor Youngkins said to Virginia authorities, you got to cooperate with the federal government when they're hunting down foreign nationals that they want to detain. You got to cooperate. Well, first day, Abigail, no, you don't. This is the Democratic Party. It was the same thing in if you know your history, and please read Confronting the Presidents, please. Because you had, states that go, hey, we're just not going to obey what you say. President Buchanan, President Lincoln. There's no difference. All right, so Spanberger does that, and now Virginia goes over into the sanctuary classification. Now, if you really add it up, what is this all about? The Democratic Party does not oppose open borders. If it did, it would have screamed when Biden was doing that. And I'll give you some startling stats in a moment on Biden. But it didn't. It didn't. And to this day, the mainstream Democratic Party, it's okay. Let everybody in. Let everybody in. They'll never admit it, but that's what they're saying. Okay? And when you have a party, a political party, which basically doesn't want... Now, if the Democrats had any dignity, they introduce new legislation, new immigration law. Let's see what you want. Put it out. No, we don't get any of that. I'd like to see what the Democratic Party wants as far as immigration is reform. I'd like to see it. Wouldn't you? So we can debate it. Now, the media is firmly on the side of Democrats, has been since 1968, hasn't deviated one bit, and now it's crazy because they hate Trump. So this happened on CBS. Margaret Brennan faced the nation with Homeland Security Director Kristi Noem. Go.
Every single individual has committed a crime, but 70% of them have committed or have charges against them on violent crimes and crimes that they are charged with or have been convicted of that have come from other countries that are here illegally, first of all, and then they have committed a criminal act while they've been here or in their home countries as well.
It's not 70%.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so how do I know? I don't know. You don't know. And that is the weakness in Homeland Security. You've got to put it out. How you know that? Now, Brennan's never going to believe you no matter what you show her. She doesn't want to believe you. Now, keep that stat in mind, because I'm going to do a 60 Minutes thing in a moment, that stat's going to come into play. Okay? So, Brennan, in the interview, I didn't use this part of the soundbite, but says it's 40% that ICE is rounding up that have criminal involvement. Noam says it's 70%. American people don't know. And that's a weakness. And federal government has got to clarify that. So summing up here. So the radical left is using this to try to destabilize the federal government because they hate Trump, they hate everything that is in the capitalist, they across the board. And this is an issue. But they're not making inroads yet. Another shooting of a mother. You got to be careful now. Federal government's got to understand that, Americans are watching this. I think most Americans want robust immigration enforcement. I could be wrong, but I think they do. But they don't want violence and they don't want unfairness, and that's the memo.